everyone, welcome back to Neckline Fashion Academy YouTube channel once again today. So today is going to be the making of our Queen Anne neckline. So if you look at on the thumbnail, you will see the beautiful Queen Anne neckline right there. That is the focus of this tutorial, okay? So this is a subscriber's request and I decided to make this video to show you how to go about this beautiful Queen Anne neckline. So right now, as usual, we have our drafting of our basic bodies, which is the starting point for every drafting of any dress, okay? So on the basic bodies pattern here, I have the shoulder, I have the chest line, I have the bust point, this is the under bust point, and this is the waistline, as you can see. All right, so if you don't know how to make a basic bodies, we have a basic bodies full drafting on this channel. You can browse through the channel and learn how to make a basic bodies. All right, people, so we want to continue. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe. Turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this all the time. Like this video, share to family and friends, and drop your comments and your suggestions on the description box below. So the first thing first, we always do, I know by now if you have been following Neckline Fashion Academy YouTube channel, you will know what we are supposed to do. That is the natural neckline. The natural neckline is gotten by your bust circumference divided by 12. Whatever figure you have, you take it as your depth and as your width and connect with your curve ruler. So from the tip of the shoulder to the armhole line, I'm going to divide my shoulder seam line. I get the midpoint and I'm going to connect the midpoint to the bust point. Can you see that? After that is done, the next thing we are going to do is to take the difference of bust point and under bust. So whatever your bust point, your under bust is, just take your tape around like this, okay? This helps us in so many things. It helps you to determine your neckline appropriately. It helps you to also pad your dress appropriately. So now we've determined the neckline. So I want my Queen Anne neckline to sit right on the bust line. So I want it to sit right on the bust line. So that is the starting point. So that means from the shoulder line to that point I have 7 inches. I'm going to mark out that 7 inches now to serve as my starting point for my Queen Anne neckline. So I'm ruling my line across. So next we are going to do is to create our neckline proper. So to create the neckline proper, we are going to, I will need the Queen Anne neckline to touch the chest line, okay? So it depends on what you are actually making right here. So I'm placing my ruler, the sweetheart neckline will touch the neckline and come over and touch the line. And then you can see how I place my pattern ruler again, and I'll connect it back to the armhole. Can you see? So that is the neckline, the neckline for our busting. So next we want to do, before we jump into the Queen Anne neckline, is to contour the upper bust. So to contour the upper bust on this line and on this line, I'm going to take from this point 3/4, from this point 3/4 for a perfect contouring, and this works for almost everybody. So I will just place it like this, as you can see. So all these are the dots for our contour line, okay? And then for the under bust line, this is my center front line. I'll place my tape on the center front and take my bust circumference divided by 4. This is where I have it. So whatever thing I have remaining here, I'm putting 0.25, a quarter of an inch, and the remaining I put it in that way. So I'm going to place my pattern ruler. So I hope you are watching how I'm placing my pattern ruler. This is very important, okay, for a perfect fit to your bustier. So now we come back right here and we return back. So this is actually how you are going to drag this using your own basic pattern. So that is what we are going to cut right away. So it's high time for us to jump into the Queen Anne, and to do that we'll simply come over here. The Queen Anne neckline is just a simple neckline and a nice neckline. So as you can see on the thumbnail, the Queen Anne is running all the way from the tip of the neckline, okay, and is coming over here. So I'm going to connect it all the way to this point using the straight part of my ruler to the starting of my dart leg. Can you see that? So all of this now is my Queen Anne yoke. So this is the yoke part of the Queen Anne, and that is the neckline, as you can see. So what I have right here, I'm going to cut it on fold. So I'm going to cut what I have here because I'm done with my Queen Anne neckline. So whatever thing I have right here on this pattern, I'm going to cut it now. So like I said, I always like to cut my pattern on camera. That will help you understand what we are doing here. So from this point, I'm going to cut first into the neckline. Can you see that? So I'm cutting into the neckline, taking it all the way to the center front. So I'll separate the neckline. So we'll finish up with what we have right here. So I'll just cut off this, as you can see, and I'm cutting through the contour line. Can you see that? So I call this my F1, and from here I'm going to cut this. Can you see that? So I'm taking off this dart because we don't need it. Next is to close up your bust dart. So to close my bust dart now, I'll just apply my adhesive, as you can see. So once adhesive is applied, I'll close up the dart. Can you see that? So I call this my F2. So this one I'll cut 2 times of it, and this one I'll cut it on fold. That is for the front. So next you will do is to match up what you have here, the bust point line. Make sure it matches up, so we'll see whether there's a shortage or not. So here we don't have much shortage, we have just a little, and it's not enough, we can ignore it. So we'll now go over to the Queen Anne neckline. This is it, and I cut off. I come from the armhole like this, and that is that. So this is what we have for the Queen Anne for the front. So coming over to the back is just very simple. It's just to attach your normal back bodies the same way it is. Just attach it because we did not tamper with the neckline. So now my Queen Anne will be sewn from this point. Can you see that? And that is that. So now I'm going to cut this on my fabric, but I'm not going to pad it. It's a demonstration tutorial to show you how to do that. I'm cutting 2 pieces of my fabric, 2 pieces of my lining, 2 pieces of my fabric, and I'm cutting only 1 of my yoke. Okay, I will be using a lace fabric to cut this, and I'll show you how to join it together to have a perfect Queen Anne neckline. All right, so before we proceed to the sewing of this Queen Anne, you can see I've already cut out my fabric, my lining and my fabric. I cut them on fold for the center front, and I added my seam allowance of 0.5 all around. So I'm going to make a notch at my bust point. I'll also make a notch at my under bust. These are the points I'm going to sew this. I'll also make a notch at my bust point and my under bust point. So looking at what we have right here, this part is going to be stitched bust point to bust point like that to form our cup. And this is the Queen Anne. I cut 2 times of Queen Anne for left and right. Okay, so it's going to sit like this. Okay, all right. So now I want to talk about the back bodies. This is exactly what you need for your Queen Anne. Nothing more, nothing less, unless you want to create maybe a deep back neckline. Okay, so if you want to create maybe an opening, what you will do is just come over here as deep as you want your neckline. You can go, you can make it shallow, you can even leave it high and put your zipper or your button at the back. So what we have right here will be stitched like this directly. You can see that directly, and you have your, in fact, it's even preferable you have a high neck for your Queen Anne. So this is the pattern for your back. I'm not drafting anything. This is what I'm going to use to cut my back exactly. Okay, so we'll proceed to the front part of this now. So I have 2 pieces, like I said. On the neckline right here, you can see the neckline is I didn't add any seam allowance because we are trying to achieve a seamless finishing. But if you know you want to turn your Queen Anne yoke, you want to turn it, maybe you are working with a mesh, then you can add 0.5 inch and turn it around. It's all your choice. All right, people, so that is that. I added 0.5 and 0.5 to sew it together. So now in the next video we are going to sew this, so check out for part 2.